Welcome to GovTalk, the show where we spotlight the leaders and local governments shaping our communities. I'm Travis Youssef. Today we're joined by Adam Hoffman, Mayor of the Village of Lake Success, a community known for its rich history, strong civic engagement, and commitment to quality of life. We'll be talking a little bit about leadership, public safety, community involvement, and what makes Lake Success such a unique and special place to call home. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for inviting me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Adam. Yeah. Well, the first question, why Lake Success?
Well, why I'm a mayor or why did I move there?
Well, let's go with why'd you move there? Yeah.
So when I first got out of college, I moved to New York City. I got married in 1989, and my wife was living and working in New York City, and I was driving to Comac every day, and she finally felt sorry for me, and she said, why don't we move to Long Island? So we rented a house in Old Westbury for a little while, and it wasn't really working out very well. She was still commuting in the city, and we were looking for a middle ground, and we found Lake Success.
Oh, very nice.
And it was just the best, luckiest day of our lives to find this place, because it's a great community. You know, everybody knows each other, right? Because it's a community where the kids go to summer camp together. There's a golf course. Yep. You know, there's a restaurant and catering facility, and there's pools and tennis courts. And so the community really knows each other, which is different than a lot of areas. So it's sort of by dumb luck we found the area, but it's the best thing we ever did in our lives.
Oh, that's wonderful, Adam.
Yeah,
no, it's really fantastic. It is a great part of Long Island, you know, for sure. So, and then, just kind of segueing into that, you know, what brought you into the public service as mayor? So
when our kids are 3 years old, there's a summer camp that parents organize and run, and the village is nice enough to give the parents a facility to use at the pool.
Oh, wonderful.
And so I got on the camp board. I was the first male camp member there.
Okay.
And I got on, because I'm an accountant and I could help do the finances and help with some of the budgeting and things. And so from that involvement, I met a lot more people. And one of my friends says, hey, you should be a trustee. You should run for trustee.
Oh, okay.
And so I went down to some meetings and said, all right, I could do this. And I was nominated and was elected. And then from that was 23 years ago.
Wow.
And so for 13 years, I was a trustee. I ran the park. Okay. I did 10 years on the golf course. I always did the budget. I'm a CPA by trade, and so I always did the budget. And then at maybe 10 years into my trusteeship, Ron Cooper was the mayor at the time, said, you know, you're going to be the next mayor. I mean, as an election, but, you know, and I said, I can't do it now. My kids are still home. I said, when my kid goes to college, my last one, I'll be mayor. So he said, Luke went to college. He said, you're going to be mayor now. So that's how I became mayor, and that was 10 years ago.
Wonderful, Adam.
Right,
now you're coming in to be the second longest, or first longest
I think
mayor,
tied with Ron Cooper with 10 years.
Yeah.
And I listen, I'm 65 years old. I'd like to do a couple more years, so maybe 2 more years, and then maybe call it quits. We'll see. I love doing it. I love giving back to the community.
Sure.
You know, there's a sense of pride to make the place better and to give back. You know, more people in America need to give back to make it a better place.
Definitely.
And if we can do our small little part in Lake Success to make it better, I'm happy to do it as long as they want me.
No, for sure, Adam. And it's so important to give back to your community, you know, because I really think that there's that ripple effect, right? You know, that by you doing good, you know, whether it's a kind word or a kind service for somebody, you know, really helping out your neighbor.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what it's about, trying to make it a little better for everybody else that lives there.
Yeah, definitely. Now, are there any top priorities for you this year as mayor?
You know, it's funny. The village sort of is it's kind of easy to run in a way, because we have a great public works person who's not retiring, but we're going to replace him. We have Pat Farrell, who's great in the office. We have a really great police chief, who's a really top-notch chief around. And then we have a great superintendent on the golf course. So those things make my job easier.
Sure.
I mean, what we have to deal with is on the budgeting side with the hospital owning a lot of the properties in Lake Success. It becomes a battle with them to have them pay their fair of taxes to us.
For sure.
And also they're to balance their needs. There is a biogenesis center being built at 1 Marcus Avenue, which is a private public partnership with the state and a private developer. So that's a complicated issue that we're working on right now. And if we can get that done, we're working on it hard. It'll be a big boom to the community for taxes. You know, it'll be a good real estate tax for us from a property that right now isn't paying much in taxes.
Great.
So I mean, that's the big project right now. I mean, public safety is always there, right? You know, we have a very good police force. We have, you know, a full 24-man crew with a chief and a lieutenant.
Amazing.
And they patrol 24 hours a day, and I think the residents appreciate them, how safe our community is.
No, definitely. Especially now, more than ever, just ensuring the safety,
Yes.
From our kids to all the way to our elders.
Yes, and part of what the police do is they go to the high school every day and intermingle with the kids there.
Great.
We have a sergeant who's very into that, and she goes there every day, and she'll walk around the hallways, introduce herself, talk to the kids. Realize if you have any issues, you can come to us. We're here for you, and we practice for drills just in case something goes there. So
no, and that's great. And just having that presence is so important.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily. I think that a lot of times people will find that it's maybe a bad thing or a negative thing, like when they, but it's not.
No.
It's a matter of ensuring safety, and they're part of the community.
Yes.
They're humans just like us.
Hey, listen, they've pulled people out of fires in their houses. They've saved people's lives that had a heart attack or needed help. They're there immediately for our residents, and the residents appreciate them. I really do. They do.
For sure. There's so much more that goes into it, being an officer,
right.
Rather than just, going after, the bad people or whatever,
right.
But just, again, ensuring that, there's a strong presence and a presence of love and, kindness and compassion.
Yes.
And again, there to help each other.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful, Adam. Now, are there any particular events or any volunteer opportunities that, have really strengthened the community bonds, talking about community?
So how our village works is, there's a golf commission. Okay. And it's residents volunteer to be on the golf commission, and there's a golf commissioner who's a trustee. Okay. So there's a board there. There's a park commission. All right. And that runs the park, and there's a trustee, and they all have a say in what goes on at the golf course, at the park. There's an environmental commission that meets and runs recycling every year, and the meds, return your meds, and also electronic waste. They do that. Okay. There's a finance committee. It's all these different things that help put the village together, and
for sure.
And there's a planning board, which is volunteers for when people do build new homes or do construction, they have to go from the planning board. Yeah. So all these positions are volunteer positions, and the residents can be on those boards if they're interested.
Now, how do they go about finding more information on that?
Well, they would contact the village office, Pat Farrell or Diane at the desk, and they could call and get the information on how they could become that. You need to have an opening, right?
Sure.
They are well attended, and people want to be on those committees and commissions. Great. And so we usually put them on as an alternate first. Okay. And at that point, when someone would say, I want to leave, we'd move them up to the next step. But we have a very good participation at the resident level on these things. We have a house committee because we have a restaurant and catering facility, so the house committee sets the menu, helps with the menus, helps with the events, like we're having a Valentine's Day party in the next couple of weeks, so they'll help with the menu over there and put the event together.
Great. And that's at the grill, is it called?
We have a grill room and a catering facility.
Okay, the grill room, yes.
So we don't run that. We have a third party, Compass, which is the largest food provider in the world. Mm-hmm. They run the catering facility and the restaurant for us.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's a license agreement.
That's really great, Adam.
It's great.
Yeah, no, awesome. Let's talk a little bit more about, looking back as your time as mayor. You're coming up into a potential, this is election year. Right. So what would you say would be one of your biggest accomplishments that you're really proud of?
So, it's a complicated thing. The hospital's a nonprofit, mm-hmm. right? And they don't have to pay taxes or they can pay a pilot. Some of them do, some of them don't. And I have a very good relationship with them, and I've created this bond with the hospital where they're willing to give us a fair share of what we deserve for being in the village. Mm-hmm. And when I started, that wasn't all there. They were paying some, but we've got it to a much better number. We have like I said, there's a great relationship between myself and the hospital. Yeah. The new CEO just took over, Dr. D'Angelo, and he came and met with me and sat with me and thought it was important enough to meet the village.
That's great.
And keep that relationship going that we have with them. And and the fact that we're very stable financially, mm-hmm. We have a very AAA bond rating, we have a very good surplus, we run we take our budgeting very seriously, mm-hmm. and that's an important thing. And just the way we operate, our golf course, we have a new superintendent that we put in like 6 or 8 years ago. He's turned the golf course around. It's really, the conditioning is one of the best around on Long Island. Mm-hmm. And just being able to find good people and work with them. And as a mayor, my job's the easiest part, honestly. I have to just make sure up here everything's working.
For sure.
But I have, great people at key positions that do what they're supposed to do every day. I have trustees that are very interested in what they do every day and do what they're supposed to do every day with their department heads.
Yeah.
And then I just have to make sure it all works.
Sure.
Right.
Well, and you know what, as you as the leader, if you have that team in place, and again, it's obvious that you care. And I think that's the biggest thing, as a leader. If you care at the top, everything down, it's a trickle-down effect,
right.
And when you have those really strong individuals, then you have the A-team, essentially.
Yeah, and then when you have good leaders, the people that work for the village want to work. They want to work for them.
For sure.
And so it trickles down from the leader to the crews that we have in public works, at the golf, the police, and in the village office. And then down in the locker room, locker room in Texas, we have a gym, and we have a locker room for the golf course. They all want to work because they have great people ahead of them.
Yep. And then I think also the fact that you kind of you roll up your sleeves, you get in there and do it. You're type of a manager leader that will really just get into it and making sure that you're showing up,
right?
And being there for you, for not only for your team but also for your community,
right?
Adam, which is so great. Talk to me a little bit about any recent or upcoming changes in the village that the residents should be aware of.
I think there's not much going. It's kind of like I said, the Biogenesis Center is a big thing.
Biogenesis.
That's a big thing we're working on right now.
Okay.
There's some changes in leadership. We have some guys retiring.
Sure.
We're gonna have to work with replacing. We've been interviewing for these new positions. I think we have somebody. So
yeah.
But I mean this. It kind of runs day to day, and we have some police retiring, so, we have to hire off the Nassau County list, but the chief handles all that. He knows who he's looking for, tries to get to the people he wants, and he's very good at making sure that people we hire, the policemen we hire, fit the quality of person we're looking for.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah. Talking a little bit more about that, how does the village prepare for emergencies? We have a snowstorm coming up this weekend, so such as severe weather, power outages, or other unexpected events.
So the head of Public Works, Pat McDermott, he's in charge of our crew.
Great.
And he will call in. He knows we have our own. We do our own plowing on our own streets. We do our own sanding.
I didn't know that.
So we don't have to rely on Nassau County for our internal streets.
Sure.
Lakeville Road, the expressway, the service road. That's the state in Nassau County.
Yep.
But internally, we do all our own plowing.
Oh, great.
So we have all our own equipment. We have it all ready to go. We supply our own sand and stuff, so we have all that ready to go. And salt. We have our own salt shed, and so he prepares everybody. He knows who's coming in. He knows when to call them in, and once again, he'll keep me in the loop. He keeps Pat Farrell, our administrator, in the loop, but he handles the men coming in, when they're going to start work, when they're going to go home, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we're prepared for that. If we have issues with power outage, we have a contact at PSE&G who we call, who's like a municipal interface.
Oh, wonderful.
So we call that person directly.
Yeah.
I have another person I can call who used to be on interface, and I know her very well, so she'll help me out.
Yeah.
And there, if we have issues directly with power, where we feel we're not getting response right from the normal PSE channels,
sure,
we'll call our interfaces and get them to move.
No, that's great, Adam.
I mean, another project's going on, I'm sure you noticed, is the gas main going down the service road.
Yes.
So we've been dealing with that for the last, I don't know, Pat, like six months or so, 5-6 months coming through the neighborhood. And there's a big substation right at the intersection of Bates and the Expressway, and they've been there for a while. And that's causing the neighbors over there a little bit of a headache because the trucks are always there. There's plates and stuff. But we're working with them, and they've been working very quickly, except the weather sort of came against them a little bit.
For sure, especially like those winter months, sometimes it's unpredictable.
Right. But then, we have the National Grid is doing that project, has worked with us, and we were working with them. I try to be flexible with these companies and work with them, because the better we work with them, the faster they're going to get through here.
Definitely.
And so you work with them a little bit, maybe let them start a little earlier, let them work a little later, so we can get them through the neighborhood and out of here.
Yeah, and it's having that collaboration with one another and kind of having that give and take.
Right. You don't want an adversarial relationship with them. It just doesn't help.
And you know what? At the end of the day, you know that a job needs to get done, and you also want to make sure that residents residents are happy, but there's also a safety that goes into that as well, and just everybody needs to understand that we're not doing this just to cause headaches, but you know, to make things better for you.
Exactly.
You know, and I think that's what it's about. You know, we're ever evolving, ever changing. You know, as we discussed before. Speaking a little bit directly to like the residents, what would you like for them to hear when it comes to just feeling safe and confident living in Lake Success?
Well, you know, our police are on the streets 24 hours a day, and everybody, you should use your alarms. You should lock your cars.
Yes.
You know, you'd be surprised. You know, our police caught the ring that were stealing cars in Nassau County. We caught the ring that did it, and every car that's ever been stolen in Lake Success, their car doors are open and the keys are inside. And so if people just lock their doors, take their keys out of their cars, and lock the door of their homes and use their alarms all the time when they go out, it would probably make life a lot easier for our policemen.
For sure. As safe as the neighborhood is and can be, you just always want to take those extra precautions.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a no-brainer in my mind, and we send out constant reminders to people to lock your car, use your alarm at night. It's just another precaution that makes things easier for our police. You know, and
less headaches for everybody.
Right. And we try to keep cars off the street, you know, so that policemen know that if there's a car on the street, it might be something else, right? So we don't usually let resident parking on the streets for that reason. But you know, we're here for our residents 24 hours a day. You know, if the police, it's an emergency, they're going to be there for you. If it's a tree falls down in the street in the middle of the night, our public works will come in and take that off the street. You know, and if there's a power outage, the police will notify me, and I'm going to try to start working on that for them right away. So we're always there for our residents, and I think they understand that
for sure.
And I think that's part of the benefit of living in a village, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, the village has your services are there for you when you need them, and you can reach somebody almost immediately when you want something or need something.
Yeah, like you have their back and they have yours.
Yeah, and they know they call the village office if they're not happy with something, they're going to get immediate response. And that's the plus of living in a village.
Which is so important because, I mean, look, when it comes to, you know, just working government, you're working for the people. You know, and especially since Lake Success has such a rich history, you know, incorporated in 1927, and it was also the role as the temporary home of the UN at one point.
We're in it.
We're in it right now.
11 Marcus Avenue was the first home of the UN.
And when was that? That was
in the 1940s. I think, early before they built the
incredible.
UN. It's remarkable.
I mean, it's just, you know, I think I'm originally from Pennsylvania, so I went to school at Hofstra, and I think for me, I'm always just amazed at the history that Long Island has, and I don't think a lot of people really know. You know,
well, our golf course. So Deepdale, our village hall was a Vanderbilt estate, and so he built that golf course. That was original Deepdale golf course, which is now on the other side of the expressway. And in 1950 something, they built the expressway and they cut his golf course in half. And so the village in 1956 bought the remaining holes of that golf course. There was like 13 holes that was remaining. And they floated a bond, they got enough people to do it, and they bought that golf course. And then they did some land swap with a developer so they could get another 5 holes out and make it 18 holes. But they had the foresight, which is really remarkable in the 1950s to think like that and say, let's buy this and make a golf course for the village. It really was a remarkable thing, you know. And it is a plus for the residents. I mean, more and more. So the golf course is a self-sustaining entity. It's its own budget, right? And it works because we have a lot of non-resident members that want to join, and they pay more than residents, obviously. But the resident population is getting back into golf now, and the resident side is picking up. So it's a great asset of the village. We take great care of it. I think it's a feather in the cap to have it. And to say, hey, I have a village golf course that's 2 minutes away from my house and I can play there anytime I want. And it's like a big family there. Everybody knows each other. It's a fun place to go. It's not too pretentious, you know, and it works out pretty well. So it's a great thing to have.
Now, you're a golfer, right?
I am a golfer.
Okay, all right. Yes. I'm an occasional golfer, I'll say. You know, my father-in-law was big time golfer, and he's taken me out a couple of times. He's like, you know, if you practice more, you'd be like halfway decent.
We're a family. My son played college golf. My other son's a really good golfer.
Amazing.
So we all just played golf. That's why I moved here. It's part of what I moved here. You know, it was the golf course.
Well, again, having that sense of ease, right? To be able to just be able to go into a spot, like you said, 2 minutes from your home.
Yep.
I mean, then it's really about having a lot of the accessibility of things,
Yep.
you know, and just the ease of access to getting all that. I mean, you know, so if someone unfamiliar with Lake Success asks you, what makes this village special? What would you say?
What makes it special is the community. It's because we have the golf course. It's because we have the pool and tennis courts. Because we have a summer camp for 3 to 9-year-olds or 3 to 10-year-olds these days. Everybody gets to know each other. There's a sense of community.
Yeah.
And you go to a lot of neighborhoods. Most people don't know who lives next door to them, right? And here, like, all my son's friends, you know, he knows a lot of kids he grew up with, both of them. And it's all from going to the camp and being around each other and swimming at the pool every day after camp. And then from there, the adults get to know each other because, well, there's, you know, 75 kids at camp.
Sure.
And there's 23-year-olds. Well, now every 3-year-old parent knows each other.
Yep.
And it's just that community. It's a sense of community, and the pride of, you know, there's a pride to living in Lake Success. I believe that people know it's a great place to live, that it has all these different amenities that are all well taken care of and really cared for. Yeah. It has a great, you know, board that cares. It has a great, you know, people that work for the village care. And I think that's what makes it a special place, is that it's amazingly close to New York City.
For sure.
You know, and an easy commute. And you come off Fox, and you pull into Fox Hunt Lane in Meadowwoods, and you see these great trees, and people can't believe that exists. 3 minutes from Little Neck or Queens, you know, and it's just amazing. And I think that is what brings it. It's a sense of community that people know each other, people care for each other. If you're sick, someone's going to check on you, you know, or if you're sick, someone's going to make sure that you have what you need to take care of yourself. You know? And then I think that's the greatest part of it. Yeah, no, definitely, Adam. And it's really about building those lifelong, you know, relationships, friendships, you know, because it's so important. You know, you want to know that your neighbor has your back, right? And that, you know, they're going to be there for you, you know, no matter what. Your village is going to be there for you. Because if we, you know, I think that's what we're here for, to help each other, you know, in any way that we can. So I believe. Listen, I think what goes on with politics right now, what goes on with the New York America, is that people don't want to listen or care for each other, right? They're just bickering at each other all day. And I think instead of hearing each other, you got to hear each other. And as a mayor, as trustees, as the people that work in there, we try to listen to our residents and hear what they're saying. Say, what can we do better? How can we make this a little better for them? Because my job is to serve the residents, and my goal is to make their lives better, and what we can do for them, the best that we can be for them at all times. Correct. And then to say, hey, these guys really care for us. They're trying to do the right thing all the time. Yeah, because that's all we're doing, is all just trying to live our best life. Yes, you know, exactly. And be as successful as we want to be, you know, be around with friends and family, feel that we're cared about, you know, and just be in those. Listen, we have an event in the park. We have a music fest, and we have free food, and we get 800 to 1,000 people there, and it's just a fun time. Yeah, people get to see each other. People get to meet who they didn't know. Sure. And the kids run around, and there's a band playing, and it's great. We have food truck nights, you know, where we have food trucks coming at the pool. Awesome. We have movie nights for the kids at night. And we have Friday night dinners at the club where people come, and so there's always community things going on. It's family that bring people together to try to. We have a barbecue at the pool for opening Memorial Day weekend. That's awesome. Free for pool members. So all these things attract people to come together and get to meet their neighbors. And realize we're all just people, and we should all try to get along and be happy for each other. Yeah. Even though we may not agree on everything, you know, all the time, but it's just a matter of like just knowing that, hey, we're just trying to do the best we can. Exactly. Looking ahead, you know, talking about evolution and everything, where do you see Lake Success, the village of Lake Success, going in the next 5 to 10 years in terms of growth, services, and, like you said, community engagement? Well, you know, we're the houses that what goes on in the village is everybody buys a small house, knocks it down, and builds a big house now, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, we deal with zoning a lot now. We just wrote out zoning code because we're trying to limit what people can do. I mean, they're entitled to a nice house,
yes,
right?
For sure.
But they're not entitled to an oversized house that's overbearing on their neighbor's house. And so we're trying to control some of that right now. We're writing a zoning code. We hired. Our building inspector, Bob, has been with us for like 40 years. He's 80 years old, whatever it is, but he's going to phase out. We hired a new building inspector, code enforcer, who's a master builder, understands building, who's there to help the residents.
Great.
I mean, it's really budgeting too, making sure we can control our budget, make sure that we can control our real estate taxes, trying to figure creative ways to raise money for the village and to try to, maybe control. We did lower taxes last year for the first time, God, in 10 years. Probably, I don't think it's ever got. Everybody's house went down about $1,000.
Wow, awesome.
There's some quirks in how our taxing system is.
Yeah.
But try to just control how we spend our money. A lot of it is dictated from the state. Obviously, with pensions and health insurance and whatever else, some of it's out of our control.
For sure.
But as much as we can control, we do, and try to make people's taxes reasonable for the services they get.
Yeah, no, definitely. We just have a couple more minutes here, Adam. So I guess the final thing, just a couple more questions.
Sure.
Any upcoming, you talked about the Valentine's Day event. Is there any other events that might be upcoming?
No, because the winter's kind of slow at the club and in our village, but Valentine's Day, and then the camp is having they have an open house to attract campers. So the max number of campers is 75, and so each year, these are parents running the camp. It has nothing to do with the village. We just give them the rights. So it's a couple of mothers and maybe some fathers help run the camp.
Great.
They put it all together. We have a woman, Maria, who's been running the camp as the head camp, head counselor, whatever she is. She's the
camp director.
Camp director, right?
Yeah.
She's been running it for years. She does a great job. We take them for golf lessons. They have tennis lessons. They play pickleball.
Oh, great.
They go to movies if it rains. They play soccer. They have, I think, karate and stuff coming in. Or they have a million different things. And they learn how to swim in the pool.
And this is throughout the entire summer, though?
All summer. So 6 or 7 weeks of the summer.
Oh, that's incredible.
And so, but that's coming up because now's the season they try to recruit the kids to get in and get them to come back and stuff. So it's a quiet winter.
Yeah.
We just try to make sure we can plow the snow and keep everybody's streets safe, so they can get around.
Yeah, for sure, Adam.
Right.
And then, as the final message, that you'd like to send to your residents who are tuning in today, what would that be?
That we're always here for you, that the trustees are trying hard to do what we need to do to make the village operate every day, and that our meetings on Monday, the second Monday of every month, are open. We love when people come down to voice their opinions and hear what we have to say and do, because sometimes, sadly, we don't get a lot of people down there, and then someone might complain about what we did. And I said, well, we have open meetings, and we publicize our agenda. You should come down and voice your opinion.
And those meetings are when again?
The second Monday of every month.
Second Monday of every month.
And we're, I've ran I'm not like a dictator, right? I'm a little different than maybe the other mayors. It's an open discussion with all our trustees. I don't have anything pre-aligned. I may want to do something, but I don't have it set up.
For sure.
And I allow open discussion. And the residents are open to voice their opinions also. So if there's someone sitting in the audience, I'll say, what do you think? Do you think this is a good idea or a bad idea? And I let them hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
And so the more people that come down to hear what we have to do, to voice their opinions, the better we'll be at being at government.
Well, definitely. And then, again, it's really about hearing. And again, you can't make 100% people happy, but if you're able to make that 97 or 98%, and again, like you said, it's really about being transparent, asking those questions and asking people like, hey, how do you feel about this? Because a lot of the times I think that for us, the little people, it's we're saying things and we feel like we're not being heard. Right. So I think that's really wonderful.
And that's why I let my trustees, at every meeting, they all can voice their opinions of what we're doing. It's an open discussion.
Yeah, and because it's about becoming better together.
Right, because we can make a consensus. If everybody gets to talk, we can all come to a consensus.
For sure.
Somebody just say, here's how we're going to do it. Tough tough,
Yep.
it's a consensus that we get to. And it may take an hour to get to there. We may go in million different directions.
But we're doing it together.
But we're all going to get there in the end to where someone says, fine, I can live with that. And that's a good idea.
Yeah. Awesome.
So,
well, Adam, thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure, chatting with you and everything. So, I've been Travis Youssef, and thanks for watching GovTalk.